Hi, everyone. Yep, I'm still here. Hello, hello. Give everyone a few minutes to jump on and join us. In the meantime, I will pull up my notes. Today, we're talking about emotional resilience in difficult times. This is a topic that is very close to me, always, but especially right now. I think that with everything that's been going on the last few years, but also, hi Kim, also just so many things happen. And it seems like as a collective human experience, a lot of us are going through difficult times, and we don't always have the best coping skills. Hi, Mom. To deal with those things. So my hope tonight is to help you learn how to be a little more emotionally resilient because it's a wonderful tool for your toolbox. So give everyone a few more moments. If you can hear me, thanks. Hi, Mom. I always get so paranoid. It's like, can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I here? Especially since I haven't been on for so long, which thank you all for your patience. This summer has been insane. It's been busy, but wonderful. I started a new Muggle job, and hi, Brandy. And I've been going to concerts and went on vacation. So if you didn't see it, for a long time I had it pinned to the top of the page. So back the beginning of August, you can go back and look. There, I did just kind of this meditation moment for everyone of the ocean, the beautiful Atlantic Ocean from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So if you ever just need a few minutes to just breathe and listen to the ocean or watch it, just go find that video, bookmark it, and watch it as many times as you want, because I know I do. I have it saved on my phone. I don't know if it'll let you save the video to your personal device. If it does, feel free. It's just a video from the balcony of the hotel, so it's out there for public consumption. So please check it out. Thank you for sharing the video. If you feel called to share the video or invite people to come watch it, please do. Or if you're catching the replay, please still say hello or hashtag replay, or give it a little thumbs up or heart, or message me if something resonates, or if you have questions. I'm always happy to answer. Or if you just want to share, I'm here to listen. So again, thank you for your patience while I have been kind of MIA this summer. It's been a long time. I've also been taking some time for my mental health, which I advocate for everybody, clients, friends, family, strangers, it doesn't matter. Please take time for yourself, for your mental well-being, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever you need. Hi, Gail. Please take some time for yourself each day to just breathe. I am, so one thing I wanted to address, I am still taking clients. I did delete my business Instagram because there's so many imposters out there that are just, it seems like it's an Instagram thing. So knock on wood, Facebook hasn't done it and YouTube hasn't had problems either, but they might be coming, who knows. But with Instagram, there are just so many imposters out there. Thankfully, I haven't been the victim that I know of. Nobody alerted me. So I hope not. But I know people in the spiritual community who have had accounts by scammers. They copy the accounts and they add an E, or they add an underline or a number or something, so it looks like the person. So please, PSA, be vigilant. If anybody messages you under my name or someone else's, offering to book a reading or take your payment, that's not me. I don't solicit. Most of us in the spiritual community do not do that. We let you come to us. That is what we do. So please, when you're looking, if you get a follow request, which most of us, you follow us first and then we'll follow you. So just look their videos. If they have 16 things that all posted in the last 24 hours, it's probably not right. Just be vigilant. Thank you. That's all I'm asking. Report, even though that really hasn't been working for some of the spiritual people that I know. I always report whenever I see that stuff. So hopefully Instagram gets their stuff together and I can come back on. But a couple months ago, I just preemptively deleted the Willow Tree Healing Instagram. So I am still taking clients. I am still available. My website still needs some work. So if you have questions about my services or if you want to book, just directly message me here. Or if you know someone who has my phone number, please feel free to text me or email me. Hi, Mary Lou. Willow Tree Heals. So Willow Tree, HEALS, all one word, @gmail.com is the professional email address. So you can message me there as well. We can book a reading or a session, whatever you would like. Or if you have questions about my services, please feel free to reach out. So there are ways to get a hold of me and to book sessions. But I didn't want anybody to think that I had stopped my services or practicing. So no, I'm still here. I just took a social media break because it was getting a little crazy. What else? We are in between the Aquarius full moon that we just had, and we're coming into, now that we're in Virgo season, so yay Virgos. We're going to have later this week, the 27th, I believe, is the new moon in Virgo. So it's a great time to reevaluate your daily routines, what's working, what's not working. And we're also in it's up there. So my son got me, I believe it was for Christmas. I'm going to try not to knock everything down. So I love mermaids, as you can see. And he got me this sweet little mermaid, and she's all sparkly. So yeah, up on my shelf, you can see my angels and some of my mermaid stuff. So yes, I am really a mermaid. I'll put her back later when I'm not at risk of destroying property. So reevaluate. And another good thing about, speaking of reevaluation, we're in Mercury retrograde shadow. So about 10 days before active Mercury retrograde, here we are. So the first week of September, we get to go into Mercury retrograde. Yay. Third one this year. The last one happens right after, it's like the last week of December. So technically we have 4 retrogrades this year. Aren't we lucky? So I'll do something on Mercury retrograde next time, maybe next week or the week after. Talk about Mercury retrograde, why it's not something to fear, but to help you. So all the reevaluate, like I just said with the new moon in Virgo, recreate, reconnect, reunions, just all kinds of good energy. It really is okay. I promise it's okay. So we can talk about that next time. So emotional resilience. What is emotional resilience? And it's the ability that one has to adapt to stressful situations. And sometimes there is such a thing as good stress. So going on vacation can be stressful, but it's kind of in a good way, right? Maybe you're starting a new job or a new relationship and it's like, ooh, this is exciting, but also scary because it's new territory. You haven't been out with this person before, or you haven't maybe tried this type of job before, or at least not with this company. So there's new people and Highlands. And I love your profile picture. Very cute. So, oh, okay. Me too. I need this right now too. So here we are. See, I told you, collective energy, this emotional resilience thing is just something that I don't think ever gets old. It's a good reminder. And I'm going to give you some tools and skills that you're welcome, that you can use in life. So that is the good thing. with emotional resilience, it's not, it could be something that you're born with, but it's not like your nose where, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. We can talk later. Prayers for you and your family. That's a difficult time. So I'm here. We'll talk. So it's not like your nose where you are born with it and you can't change it unless you undergo some drastic surgery, right? So, I mean, you can, and people do, and I would love to, but emotional resilience is much easier to learn, and you can incorporate it later in life. So we'll talk about it. More resilient people are able to roll with the punches and just seemingly overcome whatever life throws at them. Like, no big deal. While, and they're able to adapt to adversity without those lasting difficulties. Whereas less emotionally resilient people have a tougher time with those obstacles and the stresses that are both major and minor. So they might have an overreaction to a more minor, again, this is all subjective language, but what would be seen as a more minor occurrence. So some people are just naturally resilient. They're just able to overcome that stuff and whatever, they just let it roll. And other people are like, oh my God, everything's on fire. And I think we can all identify somewhere in our lives where we have been both. We're somewhere in between most of the time, and that's okay. So the good news, like I said, is that it can be learned. You can learn how to become more resilient. Does it happen overnight? More than likely not. It takes work. Just like with grief, it takes work to come and sit with it and deal with that trauma and give it a name and let it go. So be gentle with yourself during this process, as always. You know, I'm a huge advocate of self-care and being gentle. It can stem from childhood trauma or lack of modeling. The adults in your life when you were a child, we talk about this in grief recovery. We learn how to deal with such things by looking at the adults around us, whether it's parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, church, cultural, community, whoever it might be, mentors, teachers, volunteers, anybody around us. We learn how to respond, what's appropriate. And it's not always appropriate, unfortunately. So if we had adults in our lives who didn't model good trauma response, didn't maybe themselves didn't have those coping skills to be emotionally resilient during those tough times, then we pick that up. It's kind of like you watch somebody bang a nail into a wall with a screwdriver rather than a hammer. That's what you think is the appropriate tool. And it's not. So good news is you can learn how to use a hammer. Follow me on the metaphors. So as we grow up, if we don't have those good coping skills, you don't know what you don't know. So you have to learn them. But unfortunately, the more trauma, the longer you live, the more trauma you incur. It just is. It's just how this life journey progresses. Everything's a lesson for us, not a test. It's a lesson. So people who struggle with self-worth at an older age, they're those who have experienced a lot of conditional love, setbacks, restrictions earlier in life. They're kind of almost stunted to a point where they don't have that ability. And the more trauma that happens, the less that they're able to cope with it. It's like it just piles. So how do we fix that? Well, first of all, love yourself unconditionally. There are going to be people in your life who are self-serving. It just is. I'm finding this as I approach 40 and dating. People tend to, not everybody, I understand. Hi, Carrie, how are you? There can be people who are just self-serving. They're just out for themselves. They don't want to change. They're so set in their ways. And there's actually a scientific study I read about. This is really interesting. Okay, nerd alert here. That people are less likely to embrace new experiences of any kind the older that they get. And it just is. We're more likely to take risks, positive and negative, when we're teenagers and into our 20s. We kind of level off in our 30s and then 40s and then 50s and so on. People are less likely to try new things. Not everybody, just generally speaking. That's why new technology is so easy for kids these days to just pick up and they're fine, whereas older generations struggle because they just don't have the ability to adapt. Hi, Shauna. How are you? And it's not good or bad. It just is. And I thought that was a really interesting study that it can be scientifically proven. People just don't. It just doesn't happen. So as we're experiencing trauma and trying to become more emotionally resilient, it can be more difficult. One, you might just have a ton of trauma, and I'm very, very compassionate about this, trust me. I understand, but this is where you're gonna have to put in some of the work. It's like physical therapy. You can have the surgery to fix your shoulder, but if you don't do the physical therapy, you're not gonna have full use of your shoulder, and all of that was kind of for naught. So you gotta work through it, right? You get stronger, you become more resilient, the more that you open yourself up to this way of being. Maybe it's a new way of being for you. You can also heal your inner child. So being the parent that you needed. So maybe you had great parents and you loved them very, very much, and they loved you, but they just didn't have those tools. And that's okay. Step back and remember, our parents did the best that they could with the information that they had at the time. Anybody is like that. We do the best that we can with the information that we have at the time. And when you go back and you're working through and you find your inner child and you sit with them and become the parent that you always needed, that's when we're doing some inner child healing. You address those traumas from a state of compassion and love. And if you need help with that, let me know. I do offer, we can help with Reiki sessions, and even if you're not in the same area that I am, we can do it like this. Believe me, I don't know how, but energy works this way too. Healing your inner child, being the parent that you needed, like accepting compliments. So this is something that I struggle with all the time. It's like, oh, thank you, that's very kind. But like I shrink. Like, I really like the shirt. That's a beautiful dress. Your hair looks nice today. Thanks, Mom. Whatever it might be. Hey, you're really good at that. Lindsay, you're an amazing graphic designer. Maybe somebody is a really talented writer. It doesn't have to be physical, but accepting those compliments, saying thank you, I accept that compliment. Take it. See how I did that? Take it into your heart, into your solar plexus. Thank you. Don't dismiss it like, oh no, it's nothing. Thank you. Accept it. And that's part of loving yourself unconditionally as well. And showing yourself gratitude and compassion. Because you're allowed. Stop self-loathing, negative self-talk, like rewriting that inner dialogue, that narrative that's shushing that self-critic. If anybody saw the movie Home, oh my gosh, so cute. The head boof had a shusher, and it was like a big stick with a thing on top of it. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. And he goes, shush. So every time I say shush the inner critic, that's what I think of, shush. It's just comical. I like it. So shushing the inner critic, rewriting that narrative, changing, actively stopping. Like, I have a negative thought. Stop. Recognize it. Like, that's a negative thought. Let it go. Rewrite it. You can scientifically proven, you can rewire your brain. Crazy stuff, right? But when you have a negative thought and replacing it with a positive thought rewires your brain and then you start just naturally becoming a more positive person, hence building more emotional resilience. Science. So ask yourself also with the self-critic, whose voice is that? Who do you hear? Because chances are it's not your own voice. It's inside your head. But where does that come from? Ask yourself, who is that? Is it a parent? Is it a teacher? Is it an ex-partner? A frenemy? Who is it? Who's in there? Let it go. Cut ties with toxic people. And don't give the excuse of, but they're family, or we've been friends for so long, or, but I love them. Okay. You're allowed to love people from a distance. And family isn't always blood. And just because someone is family doesn't mean that they deserve a spot in your life. If they are toxic, if they are bad for your mental health, if it's their voice that's in there, all they do is cut you down, stop that. Absolutely not. That is not okay. Say, no, it's not okay to treat me like that. I won't let you. No more. Break the pattern, break the cycle. Just be brave enough. Don't let that happen anymore. You don't have to live like that. You don't deserve to live like that. Can you tell? I get a little feisty when I talk about it. Because I want to empower people. Take back your power. You deserve. Make it a mantra. I deserve love. I deserve respect. Arguably, everything is either love or fear, right? So anything negative is fear. Anything positive is love. I deserve love. I deserve respect. I deserve friendship. I deserve, right? I deserve. I deserve. Do that. Make that a daily practice. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes and you're sitting in your car before you go into work or during your lunch break or you're in the bathtub at night where nobody's around you. You're allowed 10 minutes of solitude. I deserve. Heart, solar plexus. I deserve. I deserve. Try it. Let me know how it goes. Try it for a week. 5 days. Try it. Let me know how it goes. I always give homework. All my clients know that. You have a family of choice and your true friends and your true support system. So it doesn't matter. Cut them off. Let them go. Doesn't matter who they are. I can't imagine. Hi, Lacey. Long time no see. How are you? There are some people that, like, I think of if my son was an adult and he was emotionally abusive to me, it would be really hard to cut him off. But I think you have to. Just say, it is not okay. And if you're brave enough and you can and you want to, sit in front of that person and say, that's not okay. It is not okay to treat me like that. I deserve better. It's up to them. You can't control them. It's up to that person. Hi, Gary. Busy. How about you? Sit across from that person. Literally, if you choose, or you can call in their higher self and just have that conversation with them. Imaginary. Yes, imagine it. And say, it is not okay to treat me like that. That is disrespectful and I won't tolerate it. Boom. Oh, stand in your power. Self-worth, self-love. Thanks, Lacey, you too. So it is okay. You can't control their response. It's okay if they refuse to comply. So that's okay. Go sit in timeout until you're ready to heal yourself, because that's probably all it is their own unhealed trauma. And you don't have to expose yourself to that. You can't save everybody. I had to learn that the hard way too. You can't save anyone who doesn't want to be saved. If they're out in the water flailing around and you offer help and they don't take it, going to be hard, but it's up to them. Can't control the outcome. But it doesn't mean that you have to bear witness to it. And you certainly don't have to be subjected to it either. Who's really going to be there for you in a crisis? That's who you need to focus on. Surround yourself with good people. And you can celebrate your own achievements. So that's part of self-love too. Celebrating your own achievements. You don't have to look for outside validation. It's nice to have, but you don't have to. Say, you know what? I'm really proud of that project that I did. I'm really proud of how I handled that situation. My hair does look really good today. I have a fabulous new dress and I want to wear it because I can. It looks great. I feel great in it. Education. I took a class and I got an A. Yay. I became a Reiki master. Yay. That's yourself. That's your accomplishment. You're allowed to have pride and confidence in who you are and what you do. Absolutely. It's not being egotistical or anything low vibration to be proud of yourself. There is that balance of, I'm perfect, and if you don't agree, go away. No, we don't want to go there. But you're allowed to toot your own horn every once in a while. And it's stuff that you are proud of. Let me say that. Stuff that you are proud of, not what society wants you to be proud of or what your family says you need to go do this, and that's conditional, right? The only way I'm going to be proud of you and love you and show you attention and affection is if you go and do something that I want you to do. That's manipulation. That's toxic. So something that you're proud of, something that you are happy to tell the world that you did, because you deserve that. Absolutely. You know that I make my notes and then I skip around and I go off on tangents, so let me find my place. As children, back on the inner child, or I guess continuing healing trauma / inner child. As children, we're shaped by the behavior of our it could be parents, but our caregivers, whoever that is. And it's a collective. It's not just parents or just teachers. It's a whole bunch of people. It takes a village, right? So there are a whole bunch of people who shape who we are and how we respond to things and how we see things. So maybe if you can think of somebody who, Carrie, I feel you. If you can think of somebody who modeled good emotional resilience and you would like to emulate that, do so. Even if it was somebody who's no longer with us. I mean, the greatest way to honor someone's memory is to be like them, or to, I think of Betty White. You know, she was just a wonderful human being. She was funny, and she was America's grandma. Everybody loved her, right? And she was such an advocate for animals and animal rights, and it was so lovely when she passed. The zoos and the animal shelters and humane societies that were just inundated with donations in her memory. I mean, how lovely is that? So, and I think she was probably on the other side like, oh my gosh, I made an impact. Yay. Look at all these wonderful donations and things happening simply because I was there and I gave a voice to the voiceless. That's pretty awesome. So, tangent, if you would like to emulate somebody, we don't have to just talk about the negative stuff. If there was somebody, if you want to share it, please feel free to do so. There's somebody in your life, past or present, that modeled really great emotional resilience. Please share. I'd love to hear about it. And maybe it would help jog someone's memory of, oh yeah, I had a teacher like that too. Or, oh yeah, there was a neighbor like that. Or it just might inspire, like, oh, that's a great story. So as we are learning how to become more emotionally resilient. Embracing the inner child and the trauma and starting to heal it will help build that emotional resilience. So recognizing those, rewriting the negative thoughts, so recognizing those thought patterns that are not helpful and rewriting them and rewiring our brains, easy for me to say, right, will help to build that emotional resilience. So keeping all of this in mind, embracing your inner child is about reestablishing a sense of stability and safety, because that's where the inner child trauma comes from. The unhealed inner child is just that not feeling safe. That's root chakra. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel stable. It's like having the giraffe when it's first born trying to stand up and being super wobbly on their really long legs, which is so cute. But any patterns that are no longer healthy, that are keeping us in that negative, like, oh my gosh, I'm not safe vibration, just letting that go. Loving yourself, allowing yourself to feel that full spectrum of emotion. So if, like, when I first found my inner child during a meditation a few years ago, she was cowering in a corner, crying, like, oh no, oh no, oh no. She didn't feel safe. And I knew where that stemmed from. So I was able to address it. And I can tell that story and still viscerally feel how scared I was at that time in my life. But I now know that it's healed and it doesn't affect me in the same way. So that's part of reparenting your inner child, is going back to those traumatic times, embracing your inner child, loving them, letting them know that they are safe, they are loved, and not necessarily rewriting history, but rewriting how it affects you and your response to it now as a more aware and hopefully healed adult. Once again, I skipped around, so bear with me. All of this work contributes to increased resilience. So I know I've talked about it before. If you want me to do it again, or if you want to do a one-on-one session about healing your inner child, I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Just let me know how I can help you. Or if you want, we can do a meditation sometime. Maybe we could do it over in the private group. Willow Tree Healing. We have the Willow Tree Light Seekers private group. So if you're not a part of that group, I have been trying to get more interaction into that group, but I have just been so busy and I'm so sorry. But hopefully now that it's fall, okay, it's almost fall, we can, maybe we can do a meditation over there, something like that, where you can find your inner child and heal, do some healing, kind of like the meditation that I just discussed, where it really helped me. So how to be more emotionally resilient. Here we go. Hi, Elaine. Set some solid boundaries, not walls, boundaries. Boundaries are like a line in the sand, whereas a wall is kind of impenetrable. So you want to draw that line and say, don't cross the line, but you still want to be able to interact with people. So set solid boundaries, and anyone who even attempts to overstep, go back on, nope, don't come over. Honor your path. I just did a meditation earlier today that is, it was just a mantra over and over. I am where I am, and that's okay. I am where I am, and that's okay. It's that radical acceptance that it reminds you to be present. You can't change the past, and if you worry about the future, you're just borrowing trouble from tomorrow. So as you are more present, you're able to build more emotional resilience. Heal the past, look forward to the future, but remain present. It's an interesting trinity, right? Honor your path. I am where I am, and that's okay. Accepting. Finding balance. That's enough said, right? I say that all the time. Balance. Life is about balance. Mistakes and failure don't mean that that's the end. Like, didn't work. Oh, didn't get that job. Oh, didn't get that second date. Whatever. Missed out on that house. Our offer wasn't accepted. Oh, the car sold. You just stop? No. You look for another opportunity, right? That's all mistakes are. That's what I used to tell my son when he was little. A mistake is a learning opportunity. Just because it didn't work once, failure, just because it didn't work doesn't mean that something else won't. So that you know what didn't work so that you can not repeat the same thing, try something different. A mistake is a learning opportunity. That's why it's called a mistake, not an on purpose. It's an accident, not an on purpose, is something someone once told me. And I really appreciated that. Like, you didn't actively go and fail. It happened. And that's okay. It just means you don't know what you don't know. Now you know what didn't work, so you can try something different and see if that works. If it doesn't, great. There's another thing we know doesn't work. Honestly, that's kind of a win, right? You don't keep repeating it. You break that pattern. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person either. It's not permanent, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's a mistake. Oh, okay. See, emotional resilience. It's perseverance is really what this is all coming down to. Being able to roll with those punches. It's how we learn. So just take that with you. Self-care, always self-care. Do that mantra, take 5 minutes to yourself, breathe, do some yoga, read a good book, listen to fun music, call a friend, and or watch a funny movie. Watch cat videos on YouTube, they're hilarious, or reels, or whatever. Something to raise your vibe. Or relax, go get a massage, get a mani-pedi, get your hair done, whatever feels right for you. Go for a run. I personally don't enjoy running, but some people do. They find it a stress relief. Great. Go do that. Recognize your triggers. Be gentle with yourself. Set SMART goals. So, what you believe you achieve. So, if you're stuck in this lack of emotional resilience, being less resilient, it's like a hamster wheel. You're not going anywhere. So if you believe that that's all that's ever going to be, then you're right. That's all that's ever going to be. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. Right? The power of your thoughts. And it's not that whole fake it till you make it. Go back, watch that live. I hate that phrase, fake it till you make it. It makes me crazy. What they're really trying to say is believe. Even if it's not present, there goes my dryer, so there you go. Even if your present circumstances, hi Crystal, don't look like a certain outcome that you're hoping for, visualize that outcome. See yourself being successful. See yourself overcoming those obstacles and being successful, learning from those mistakes and being successful in whatever way that means for you. Not what society wants, what you see yourself as successful. What does that mean for you? Paint your own picture. You're the author of your own story. Write a good one, right? So set those goals. Oh gosh, I forget what the SMART, if you Google SMART goals, it'll tell you. They're like small, measurable, achievable, repeatable. I don't remember. And I don't want to give you bad info. So Google SMART goals. It makes sense once you see it. But things don't always go as planned, right? We all know that. Follow your inner GPS. Sometimes you got to reroute. Several years ago now, I had a boss, and she said the reason that one of the biggest reasons, there were a lot of reasons she hired me, but one of the biggest reasons was that I said, one of the interview questions I hate the most is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know where I see myself in 5 days. And that's okay, because I can't control outcomes. But my answer to her was, if having a child with autism has taught me anything in life, it's that nothing is predictable. You can plan out the next 5 years and something's going to come along and derail it eventually. So I don't really feel like that's a fair question, but I can tell you I understand what you're asking. And I said, sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board, get out those blueprints, erase, and draw a new line. And that's okay. And she's like, that was the best answer I'd ever heard to that question. Thank you. Feel free to use it. That we don't always know. We can lay out some plans, but we have to be adaptable and resilient and persevere in spite of any obstacles that get thrown our way. So listen to that inner GPS when it says rerouting, calculating, make a U-turn. There's construction ahead. Hang a left. There's a detour. It's okay. Roll with it. Because there's probably a few things going on. One, that rerouting, taking a different way, you could be avoiding catastrophe down the road. You could also get to see something, have an opportunity that you wouldn't have been exposed to if you had gone the other way. And the scenery might just be incredible. You never know. You might have an opportunity to help somebody. Like, oh, I couldn't go that way because I had to go this way because Spirit knew somebody over here has a flat tire and their cell phone. They lost their cell phone because we all have them now. They need some help. Isn't that what we're here to do? Speaking of, ask for help. So if you find yourself in a position where you're a little less emotionally resilient than you would like to be, it's okay to ask for help. If you need permission, you have it. If you need some help, it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask somebody to go to the grocery store for you. Like, hey, can you, the next time you go to the grocery store, can you pick up a roll of paper towels for me? It might seem small, but it could be a game changer for somebody. It could also be, hey, I need a ride to work because I have to take my car in. Can you drop me off on your way? I know it is. I know. I'm talking to you. It's hard for a lot of people to ask for help. And I think that, sorry, need my tea, which is also mermaid fins. Those pattern. There's a lot of people. There are a lot of people who that is really hard for them. And it probably stems from some sort of emotional trauma where if you asked for help, you were seen as weak. You might have been ridiculed. Maybe somebody said, no, you need to figure it out yourself. And somebody made you feel unsafe to ask for help is where that more than likely stems from. So I would advise anyone who's having a hard time with that to check in specifically with your root and solar plexus chakras and just ask yourself, why don't I feel comfortable doing that? If you need help, let me know. Rewriting negative thoughts into positive ones. I talked about that earlier. If you missed it, feel free to go back and watch. If you're visual, like me, a calendar, sticky notes that remind you. So with the calendar, maybe it's that setting aside time every day. Set an alarm on your phone, the calendar on your phone to go off every day at a certain time to say, breathe. Do the I am where I am and that's okay meditation. Sticky notes with affirmations can be very, very helpful. That you can do this. Reprogramming that belief system. What do you believe? Again, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way, you're right. So take back your power. A vision board could help keep you on track too. Where do you want to be? How do you see yourself being more successful? How do you see yourself whenever, if you're super visual like I am, I kind of see the Indiana Jones, the big boulder. Like what happens if that's coming at you? I once had a counselor that said that roaring lion behind you, what if you stopped, turned around, looked, and it didn't have any teeth? Carrie, I have a lot less stress since not worrying about being late. Crazy how things work out. That's right. That's right. It's a belief system. And sometimes belief systems initials are BS, right? So sometimes belief systems are BS. But you have the power to change them. Isn't that great? How awesome is it that you get to take back your power and change your belief system? You can change what you believe because it's all up here and in here. Mind and heart for those who have headphones in, maybe aren't watching the video. Journaling, meditation and visualization, affirmations. Oh, I love this one. Practicing random acts of kindness. Not only is that good for your karma wheel, but it's also good just in general. When you do something nice for somebody because you can, it builds self-confidence. Try it. Just try it. Do a little experiment. See how it feels, how you react. Holding a door open for someone, paying for the person behind you in line, surprising someone with flowers, or at dinner, just showing up and saying, hey, I brought dinner. Can mean so much to somebody. You never know the impact that you're having. Oh, some journaling prompts to help you with resilience. So write about a time when you took action, even when you were scared or when you were tired. Yeah, powerful. Write about a quality you appreciate most in yourself. Again, with that whole be proud of your own accomplishments thing. Write about that, journal about that. Or do a voice memo if you're not a writer or a typer. Do a voice memo, draw a picture. However that manifests for you. That's what I was thinking of. Or about kind of going back to that, someone who did model good emotional resilience. Write about that time. Thinking about that time in your life. Something that you witnessed. A problem that had a silver lining. So something that ended up actually being really good. Like, how can a problem be good? Well, because maybe it taught you something. Like, I learned what I didn't want. I learned what I won't tolerate. I learned a lot about myself. I grew as a person that day. So like maybe you failed a class. And yeah, that's bad. But maybe you had an opportunity to take that class again with a different professor and you learned that time. Or you took a different class instead and you learned. Or maybe it taught you the value of money, and time and effort. Something to that effect. Write about a time when you ventured outside your comfort zone, but gained something valuable. give advice to yourself as though it was your best friend. So if you're facing a problem, step into, like, turn it around and say that, tell yourself, well, this is my best friend saying she has or he has this problem. What would I tell that person? And then take your own advice. So by removing yourself, changing the perspective, you just might be able to come up with a solution to the issue at hand. Write about a time you forgave someone or yourself. I like that one. Earlier, I said running is not enjoyable for me. It's not something I like to do, clearly. But maybe exercising. Yeah, really, exercising can build emotional resilience. So when our bodies are physically strong or flexible, or just, feel good, your emotional state reflects it. It's really interesting. Like, the last thing I wanted to do not long ago, just within the last couple weeks, the last thing I wanted to do was exercise. But I told myself, you need to do this. Your clothes are not fitting as well as they used to. You've got an extra double-digit pounds on you that need to come off. So let's get to it. And I knew that a lot of my self-confidence issues were stemming from that exact problem. I had lost 55 pounds and gained a bit of it back. Not much, but a bit of it. And it was absolutely killing my self-confidence. And I'm like, no, no, I deserve to feel confident. I deserve to feel good. I remembered when I hit that 55 mark, I'm like, oh my gosh, do I feel great. And I physically felt great, and I mentally felt great, and I spiritually felt great. And it's very, very true. So the last thing I wanted to do was exercise. I got up, I did it anyway, and I'm like, all right, I about died, but I did it, and I felt really, really good. And the next day, I noticed in my Muggle job how much better I was doing. Okay. I feel like I could tackle the workday. I wasn't, going through work, doing whatever I'm doing. It's really fascinating how the mental and the physical reflect each other. It's just crazy. Just crazy. So there's a little experiment to try. Release comparisons. Oh my gosh, big one. So your path is yours. Your friend's path is theirs. Your coworker's path is theirs. Your sibling's path is theirs, etc., etc. Insert situation here. And that's okay. Your path is your path. There's no need to compare. There's no real timeline. There are people out there who graduate from college at 25, and there are those who are 75. Is one better than the other? Absolutely not. It's always good to have a goal. It doesn't matter how far along the path you get there, as long as you get there. So stop comparing. Don't let anyone compare. So it could be your grades, your social status, socioeconomic position, your education or job level, your status, age. Like, sure, I'm not 21 anymore. I don't want to be 21. That was an interesting time in my life, but I don't want to go back. I've learned so much, and it's okay. Your pant size, I know what I just said, but notice how I didn't say, I wish I was skinny. I'm never going to be skinny. I'm never going to be a size 4. It is not going to happen. And I'm okay with that. I don't need to be. My goal is to be strong, is to feel good in my skin. would I love to have? Sorry, I guess I blipped out there. Hopefully everything's okay now. So if it skipped, my bad. Maybe Facebook's telling me my hour's almost up. Anyway, your self-worth doesn't have to be tied to a certain thing, especially if somebody else, society, whatever, tells you that that's what you need to do. I don't want to be skinny. I will never be skinny. I want to be strong. And that's my goal. And that's okay. So there you go. Someone who seems to have it all might not feel emotionally fulfilled. So if you're comparing yourself to somebody who's got the house, the car, the job, the money, the vacations, but what they're longing for is a stable, solid relationship and kids, all of that stuff is just stuff. It doesn't mean anything. A lot of those people would trade everything to have that emotional fulfillment and stability. So, being grateful for what you have, sends that vibration out to the universe to bring you more stuff to be grateful to have. Power of thought. So take your time. There's no rush. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The goal in this life is not to hurry up and get to the finish line. Most of us are like, ooh, I hope that I have enough time to accomplish all the things that I would like to accomplish in this life. Working in hospice, I saw and heard a lot of stories about how people wished that they had more time or that they had done more with the time that they had. So we don't know how much time we have on this earth. We don't know. It's not a punch card. Like, oh, we check out on this date. We don't know. So when we get to that point in life, are you going to look back and say, wow, I really wish I had the car, the house, the vacations? Or are you going to say, I accomplished my goals, the things I wanted to do, having that loving, stable relationship and the kids? Or maybe for you, it is to have the opportunity to travel the world, to see other things, to see other countries, experience cultures. That's great. Absolutely do that. Or to be of service in another way. That's probably more of what I'm trying to say. Mercury retrograde. Actually, I can't even blame Mercury on that one. That's just me. How do you want to feel on the other side of your... Hi, Kristen. How are you? How do you want to feel when you get to that point? So just keep swimming, everybody. Hopefully you found something in here that's helpful, some tips to be more emotionally resilient, some tools for your toolbox, some help to get you through those tough times. And remember, you're not alone. We're all struggling. We're all struggling here. And the goal is to just help each other. Just be kind, especially to yourself. Thoughts, questions, answers, experiences. Please feel free to share. Again, if you're watching the replay, please feel free to still comment or message me if you have questions or thoughts. Happy to. Again, I am still taking clients. I didn't want anybody to think that I had disappeared. Just took a little social media break. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And as we are navigating these energies, be gentle with yourself. You're going to need some emotional resilience to get through. I know there's a lot going on. So thank you all so much. I know it's been a while since I've been on. I was just enjoying summer and had some stuff in my own life go on, and just needed to take some time for me. And thank you for affording that to me. And if If you need anything, you know where to find me. I would do cards, but I know we're getting a little long, so maybe I'll do a live where I just do cards. I haven't done that for a long time. Oh, I miss you too, Kristen. Oh, yes, please. You especially, you're so good at that. Be gentle with yourself. Love yourself and know that you have everything, everybody. You have within you what you need. What you seek is already within you. Just might have to dig a little bit. Go find it. Love yourself and love each other. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll do the Mercury retrograde stuff so that we can navigate that together as well. So have a great week. Take care.